What is going on, folks? It is your boy Nix. I am back once again for episode 22 of the Do You Speak Geek podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, blurs and nerds, welcome once again. If you join us for the first time, welcome. Welcome back if you're coming back and joining us here for the podcast. Again, like I said, I am Nix. Welcome to Do You Speak Geek. You can follow this podcast right here on Spreaker. Spreaker is the home team for the podcast. You can also find us on any other major outlets such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere you find your podcast. Podbean, you can go to Castbox. We are there. Follow us on the social medias if you ever get an opportunity to. That's Facebook at DYSG Media, Twitter at _ Do You Speak Geek, and Instagram at Do You Speak Geek. YouTube, the YouTube channel, Dono and Daddy Show is live on the YouTube. Please go there and check that out. Like the videos. Hulk, smash that bell for all notifications. Subscribe, and please leave comments. Please go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. So without further ado, people, let's speak geek.
Suit up.
I wanna be the very best.
Talk nerdy to me.
All right, let's jump right into it, people. We got some hot news coming out of the gaming industry. We have specs for the Xbox Series X and the PS5. These kind of came out back to back. Xbox came out of the box first, and then PlayStation and Sony followed right along behind it. Just to give you some ideas here of what's going on with the Xbox Series X. It has some mystery ports in there. We haven't found out what those are about yet. As far as full specs here, we're going to run down the list real quick. We have the CPU, an 8x Zen 2 core at 3.8 gigahertz. GPU at 12 teraflops. I love that word, teraflops. It's an awesome little word. We have the die size at 360.45 milliliters. We have the processor, which is a TSMC 7nm enhanced. Memory's at 16 gigabytes with a DDR6. Memory bandwidth is 10 gigabytes at 560 gigabytes with a 6 gigabyte and 336 gigabyte state drive. The internal storage, 1 terabyte, which is pretty much standard. I/O through output, 2.0 gigabytes of raw and 4.8 gigabytes of compressed. Expandable storage at 1 terabyte expansion card. Yes, people, expansion cards. They are trying to bring back the memory card to gaming. And I am here for it. Optic drive at 4K UHD Blu-ray drive. Performance target is at 4K with 60 flops per second with 120 frames per second on the performance drive. The Series X processor, for instance, is powerful enough to run 4 Xbox One S games sessions simultaneously. Ray tracing, which is a very major point of pride for Xbox Series X and PS5. It's also delivering apparently incredible results. Dedicated hardware inside the Series X seemingly means the console can handle moving intensive ray tracing more than expected, harnessing the equivalent of 25 teraflops of power, despite the console's GPU only having 12 teraflops. Now, here's one feature that is standing out amongst everything to me personally and a lot of other people, and it is the quick resume feature. Basically, this feature allows you to, it's so impressive and it's so dope. It allows you to pretty much turn off, unplug, or update your console and then boot directly back into the game. Now, this is part of the solid state drive, which is killing the game right now. One of the testers for Xbox on the team unplugged their console for a week, then took an update and was still able to continue right where he left off without so much as a loading screen.
Oh my.
Very impressive. Let's get into the PS5. Sony all day, Sony all day. The CPU is an 8 times Zen 2 core at 3.5 gigahertz per second with a variable frequency. 10.28 teraflops with 36 CUs at 2.23 gigahertz. The GPU architecture is a custom RNDA2. Memory interface at 16 gigabytes with a GDDR6 and a 256-bit interface. Memory bandwidth is at 448 gigabytes. Internal storage is custom at about 825 gigabyte solid state drive. So you can kind of guess here if the solid state drive is involved in both. And PS5 should be able to replicate, if not also try to do something to answer for the quick resume. I/O through output, that's standard for all systems here now. Expandable storage with an NVMe SSD slot. So yes, memory cards for the PS5 as well. All for the memory cards coming back. External storage, the optic drive is 4K UHD Blu-ray drive. Still no word on PS5's controller, the USB ports, Bluetooth, web connections, or their answers for the popular quick resume feature. Neither Microsoft nor Sony have released a price yet, so we are definitely awaiting that price point because that's going to be a big determining factor of that first year of sales, maybe even the first 90 days of sales. Let's get into my favorite part of the show, Source Wall.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
Behold the Source Wall.
Can you read, my son?
Well, that depends.
There is nothing wrong with reading a story and looking at the pictures.
Enough said, Stan. Let's get right into it. DC pull list. We have the Robin 80th Anniversary 100 Page Super Spectacular. This was a dope book written by several artists and also several writers. It's a great little book to kind of tie a little bow around the 80th anniversary of the character Robin. First sidekick to premiere in comics. You get a little bit of everyone. You get Tim Drake, you get Dick Grayson, you get Jason Todd. You even get a little bit of Stephanie Brown, a little bit of Carrie Kelly, and of course you get Damian Wayne. Yeah, Damian Wayne, everyone's favorite Robin. But anyways, moving on. Deceased Unkillables #2. This is pretty much going to be following with the Deceased book that people have all read here. But #2 issue, with the world ending around them, Red Hood and Batgirl take shelter in the most unlikely place, an orphanage filled with children. I'm not sure why they're there. Will they be able to protect the kids from the impounding hordes infected streaming outside of Gotham City and Bloodhaven? Elsewhere, you got Deathstroke, Vandal Savage, and some other DC worst villains battle the apocalypse out as an anti-suicide squad. But a certain wondrous woman may not let them have their own way. We'll see how that goes. Marvel pull list, we got a dope first issue of Outlawed. This is exploding from the pages of Incoming. In the wake of a devastating tragedy, the United States passed a law that will shake the Marvel Universe to its core. The world has had enough of teen heroes. The crackdown has begun, and the lives of Marvel's next generation will never be the same. Eve Ewing and Kim Jacinto launch a new era in this ever-changing event one-shot that will send shockwaves across the Marvel Universe. You won't want to miss this one. I'm not sure who did that cover of the regular edition that's out right now, but it looks like Miss Marvel and Viv, and I believe there's Miles Morales on the cover too. It looks like they're posing for like the dopest mixtape ever, I swear. Awesome cover, probably even better story. Go check it out. Also, we have Captain Marvel #16, The Last Avenger Conclusion. It all comes down to Captain Marvel versus Vox Supreme. Since discovering her Kree heritage, Carol Danvers has struggled to reconcile her human and her alien sides. Now she must fight for both or lose everything. But Earth's mightiest hero has a new plan. Will the power of the Avengers be enough to save the world? We shall see. Not much by way of other releases, but we do got some dope source wall news. Image Comics reveals a plan to help comic shop retailers during the coronavirus pandemic. Now, as businesses continue to innovate amidst the growing coronavirus pandemic, Image Comics has rolled out a few new guidelines in hopes of making the coming months easier on retailers and customers alike. Effective immediately, the leading independent comic publisher is making a new release between now and a monthly turntable for a full refund. So any new release material, full refund for comic shops. I think that's an awesome idea. The company says in a statement the returnability of the comics only lasts through the end of the month. There is a suggestion it could draw longer should quarantines and lockdowns last longer than expected. In addition to allowing retailers to return the titles they may have over-ordered, Image is also helping retailers market their businesses in order to help comic stores decide to offer deliverability, curbside pickup, or even mail. I remember back in the day I used to get my comics in the mail. If they bring that back, that'll be dope. But could you imagine having your comics delivered to your house? That is amazing. I can't wait to try that out. That's going to be a good service if they bring it to the forefront. Free Comic Book Day has been postponed. Yeah, I know, I'm full of bad news today, y'all, but just please stick with us, okay? Free Comic Book Day 2020 has been postponed to an unspecified date later in the summer due to, of course, the coronavirus pandemic. Diamond Comic Distributors made the announcement on their website this past Thursday. The event was originally scheduled for May 2nd. Now, just to kind of keep you all excited, Marvel had planned to launch new storylines for both X-Men and Spider-Man on Free Comic Book Day. X-Men #1 comes with the House of X writer Jonathan Hickman and artist Pepe Larraz. A press release from February said it will lead into a game-changing summer for all of the X books. As for DC, they were planning on a big event for The Flash on Free Comic Book Day that would follow up the Flash Forward miniseries. DC says the comic lays the foundation for even more seismic level changes in the DC universe. Marvel and DC haven't announced any release date changes due to Free Comic Books Day's delay at this time. So hopefully they'll keep with that going here. Also, Marvel Infinity Stones return with a twist in the new arc Infinite Destinies. The stones all disappeared at the end of 2018's Infinity Wars storyline, and it was teased that the stones were initially reborn in different people, granting them their respective powers. A new storyline titled Infinite Destinies will pick up on that thread by laying out who wound up with each stone's power and what will happen to them now that villainous forces are trying to collect the stones for themselves. The story will unfold across 8 one-shot annuals that pair one of the new Infinity Stone powered characters like Amulet, Quantum, and Star with a classic Marvel hero like Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. Marvel X-Men Children of the Atom trailer release. This was pretty recent here. It looks like Marvel Comics is set to do some X-Men sidekicks. We'll see what happens here. It's called Children of the Atom, the new series written by Vita Ayala and drawn by Bernard Chang, and introduces 5 new characters who become the X-Men sidekicks. X-Men is supposed to be something that is, important to now, Ayala says, and so what is more important than Zoomers? Zoomers being Generation Z people. One of them has a TikTok, one of them has a fitness Insta, one of them is basically the moderate for the mutant subreddit. One of them is a cosplayer, and one of them makes mutant music. So for so long, it's like the larger media in the X-Men universe is like, mutants are bad, and the X-Men are evil because they're mutants, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what would Zoomers think of that? They wouldn't. They'd be like, no, they're great. X-Men are cool. But also, it's an X-Men comic. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm looking forward to reading that book. That's going to be pretty fun. Let's watch this.
Watch this, y'all. Thunder. Thunder. Thunder.
Lannister always pays his debts.
Whoa, dude. I am the villain of the story.
Boss Logic does it again. And if you don't know what I mean by that, this next story should tell you. The Mandalorian has cast Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. Yes, 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 as Daniel Bryan would say. While Disney Plus subscribers patiently wait for the return of Star Wars The Mandalorian, a major casting report revealed fan favorite character Ahsoka Tano will appear in season 2 of the series, with actress Rosario Dawson playing the role from Star Wars The Clone Wars. Ahsoka just made her comeback in the final season of Star Wars Clone Wars that debuted on Disney Plus, and now fans can look forward to the character's live-action debut in the upcoming live-action season on the streaming service. Dawson's character has been long sought out to play Ahsoka after a artist rendition from the famous Boss Logic. As you all know, he actually did the rendering of Henry Cavill as The Witcher, and here we are one season down. So, Boss Logic, if you're listening, which I hope you are listening, you know, my little podcast, but if you are listening, can you go ahead and do a mock-up of Miles Brown as Miles Morales? I would definitely appreciate that. Also, in worse news, YouTube and Netflix are defaulting streaming quality to standard definition across Europe. Now, I'm not sure what the people over in Europe have done to make everyone upset, but I got an idea. A YouTube spokesperson wrote, "People are coming to YouTube to find authoritative news, learning content, and make connections during these uncertain times. While we have seen only a few usage peaks, we have measures in place to automatically adjust our systems to use less network capacity. Netflix has also agreed to reduce bandwidth in Europe over the next 30 days, according to Variety. It's not clear at this time how this will affect the quality of streams." Speaking of streaming, Universal Pictures is set to allow theater releases to stream at home. Now, along with others, there are very important ones that are coming home. They're coming home very fast. Movie studios have spent years considering releasing their films to home viewers at the same time they're in theaters, but have usually withdrawn those plans based on complaints by the theater claims. Now, with people staying at home, theaters closing due to the coronavirus pandemic, Universal Pictures will be the first to try the scheme by offering movies that are currently in theaters for home rental at the price of $19.99 for a 48-hour viewing window. Now, personally, I don't think that's a bad idea. $20 and I get to watch it for 2 days? That's not a bad idea. I can have a whole watch party at my house. Disney, Marvel, if you're listening, follow suit with what Universal is doing and go ahead and give us that Black Widow movie. We'd appreciate that. The first movies popped up for Universal this past Friday with The Hunt, Trolls World Tour, Invisible Man, and Emma are available internationally via a wide variety of the most popular on-demand services. It appears like Vudu is on the list, and we'd assume other big names like iTunes and Amazon Video will also participate. Let's jump to a little bit of thumb life.
Peace, love, and video games!
It's on like Donkey Kong.
That man is playing Galaga.
Alright, we got a couple of reviews right now. Animal Crossing New Horizons review. The Legend of Zelda, Pokemon, and Super Mario each found new life on the Nintendo Switch, and following those games is Animal Crossing New Horizons. an expanded, polished, next-generation reboot of a classic Nintendo game. Perhaps most importantly, like Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey, Animal Crossing New Horizons is full of surprises. You've got cool custom islands from the community who are playing, special events, and even season changes. If you're a big fan of Animal Crossing, I'm pretty sure you're listening to this and you're already playing and enjoying it as we speak. We also have Doom Eternal, the single-player review. Simply put, Doom Eternal is one of the best first-person shooter campaigns that have been played in years. As the second game of its kind, it's lost some of its novelty, but none of the joy of its intense and furious combat style. This excellent refinement of the already outstanding 2016 reboot makes you an unspoken deal. If you can keep up with it, it will keep up with you. So please check that one out when you guys get a chance. Also, GameStop has GameStop at some point made the announcement that they were essential personnel and they were not closing its doors. But the government said, not happening. You gotta shut your doors. So as first reported by Kotaku, a representative of GameStop had confirmed to IGN via an email that the corporation was keeping its doors open as an essential business during the pandemic. Citing a listing of items GameStop sells, the company seems to be essential because they sell things like webcams, microphones, mice, keyboards, monitors, chargers, audio equipment, and more. Now, I'm not here to talk crap about GameStop because at one point in my life, GameStop was paying my bills, keep my family fed. But if it's items like this, I'm not going to GameStop to get those first. I'm going to somewhere like Best Buy, Walmart, Target. I'm not going to GameStop to buy a monitor. But that's just me. But since then, GameStop has updated its policy and regulation to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, resulting in some more major changes. More specifically, the retailer has announced it will be closing all customer access to U.S. storefronts and will only process orders on a digital basis only. This means it's moving to a curbside pickup and will only offer e-commerce delivery. According to an official statement, this will allow GameStop to continue to serve customers who have made online purchases. This shutdown will begin today. Let's move on to technically speaking.
Technically speaking.
Your technological advancements 1.21 gigawatts.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Alright, so I only got one piece of news coming out, technically speaking, here. We got the new iPad Pro. Now, if you've been sitting on the fence waiting for Apple to finally update the iPad Pro, your wait is finally over. Apple introduced its 2020 refresh of both the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. They don't feature a new design or the iPhone 11's, like the iPhone 11's Pro Super Retina display, but they have been tuned up with an A12Z Bionic chip that promises to be faster than most Windows-based laptops. Apple's new tablet is also the first iPad to receive an extra wide camera, putting it on par with the iPhone 11 and studio quality microphones. I'm all about that. Lastly, the iPad Pro model features a LiDAR scanner for depth sensing and AR-powered apps. It sounds like a pretty powerful piece of equipment here, but it might be out of my personal price range. But if you got the bread, spend it, go get the new iPad Pro. We're going to wrap up with some other news here, but before we get into the other news here, I want to introduce to you all a special guest we got in studio this evening, today, this morning, or whenever you're listening to this show. He is the star of the Dono and Daddy Show. Please welcome Dono to the show, y'all.
Yeah, sure. What's up, guys? How you doing? Woo. Nice to meet you.
What's going on, man?
Okay. Settle down, people.
You in the building? You here with me?
Yep.
All right, what's up? So listen, we're gonna talk about some things, right? We're gonna talk about WrestleMania, right? WrestleMania 36 will now take place in the WWE Performance Center due to the coronavirus pandemic. Now, in coordination with local partners and government officials, WrestleMania and all WrestleMania events like Access and maybe even Takeover.
Takeover?
Yeah, it might take place, but not in the arena. Now, they're scheduled for the first time ever. Will be held as a 2-night event streaming on Saturday, April 4th and Sunday, April 5th at 7 p.m. on the network and available on pay-per-view. The 2-night pop culture extravaganza will be hosted by 3-time Super Bowl champion Rob Gronkowski. Only essential person. He played for the Patriots. They suck as a team. Don't worry about them.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, Patriots suck. At me. Fight me.
They're like Kurt Hawkins. Face the facts.
That's good. And according to PIW insider Mike Johnson, WWE is set to tape the March 27th and April 3rd editions of SmackDown on Saturday. They will follow that up with taping some content for NXT on Sunday. Focus will then shift to Raw, and then WWE will tape the 23rd and 30th editions of Raw on that Monday and Tuesday. They'll follow that up with taping WrestleMania on that Wednesday and Thursday. Now, several WWE superstars have taken to social media sympathizing with fans and promising to deliver a show worth watching. And to help commemorate and I guess lighten the ill mood of this year's grand spectacle, WWEshop.com has designed an I Wasn't There t-shirt.
What?
Yeah, that's crazy. So Donovan, let me just ask you this, man. Let me kind of help you paint a picture here. You've been watching wrestling for about your whole life.
Since I was like, I think 3 or
yeah,
6.
so you're 9 now. And this year, WrestleMania, first of all, is not even going to be in front of a live audience. But even more so than that, it's going to be taped. Like, how do you feel about that?
That's... It just really... It doesn't bring, like, the WWE spirit mood. It doesn't really, like...
So you think there's going to be something like missing because it doesn't have that live crowd feel going on?
Yeah, because we have like NXT, AEW, all this stuff that's not having any crowd. But like, if you have like a whole universe, like a WWE universe, without a crowd, it's WWE's like going like to the bottom of the barrel. Pretty much.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Now, as far as them taping it, because they're taping it, it's pretty much going to be a no-brainer, the fact that they're going to be spoilers. Someone's going to find out. Someone's going to post it online. Hey. What do you think will be the repercussions of WWE? Like, how do you think WWE, or will WWE be able to bounce back if WrestleMania gets spoiled?
If WrestleMania gets spoiled you guys watching this right now, if you spoil this right now, oh my god.
So Donald's put out a hit on anybody who's going to threaten to spoil WrestleMania.
I'm gonna snap.
He said he's going to snap.
Damn, snap you.
Alright, so tell me this then. With WrestleMania being taped and with WWE TV being taped for the foreseeable future, do you think once this pandemic is over that WWE will be able to bounce back?
They'll kind of be able to bounce back, but it's gonna be like, I think there's gonna be more new people coming from WWE to like make it actually good. Like,
so you mean like new superstars or just new? So you think they can try to bounce back with new superstars, new talent?
Yeah, like new talent and like all this new theme and stuff.
So basically, they should do like a facelift of the entire company.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. Do you think this maybe even bring new fans? Maybe.
Yeah, probably get new fans.
Okay, all right. Well, that about wraps up for me. You got any final thoughts?
do not spoil anything. I'm serious. Do not. I'll break you in half.
Well, I will say this. Donovan feels like this. If you spoil WrestleMania for him, whoever you are, no one's going to feel sorry for you because...
He does.
And that's going to wrap up this edition of DYSG. Dono, how you feel, man? You feeling good?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Something. Before anybody plays something, I need to tell you something that will make you feel happy. Yamsha!
Alright, we're going to get out of here, y'all. So, as always, follow the podcast. Follow us on social media.
Social media.
Follow the YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe. Hit that bell for all notifications. And we will see you guys next time on Do You Speak Geek. As always, live to play, play to win, win to live. I speak geek. Do you speak geek?
Peace, love, video games!